We have some major breaking news. It has been announced that Casey Mears will make his return to NASCAR at Martinsville Speedway. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we had some pretty massive major breaking news, as it has been announced that Casey Mears will make a sudden NASCAR Cup Series return in a couple weeks from now at Martinsville Speedway. He will drive the number 66 car for NBM Motorsports with Go Hitch Go as the sponsor. Here is a press release from NBM Motorsports today. Just 11 starts shy of 500 NASCAR Cup Series races, Casey Mears will return to action on March 30th when he takes to the track for the Cookout 400 at Martinsville Speedway. He will pilot the number 66 Hitch Go Ford Mustang Dark Horse for Garage 66, a team owned by NASCAR mainstay Carl Long. If Mears can achieve this prestigious milestone, he will just become the 48th driver as he's looking to make 500 starts in NASCAR Cup competition. If he makes 11 more starts, he'll become only the 48th driver in NASCAR Cup history to have 500 starts and be in the likes of Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and Michael McDowell. Here's what Casey Mears said about joining the team. "I'm happy to be back in a race car and look forward to returning to Martinsville, one of my favorite tracks," Mears said. "I appreciate Carl working with me to make it happen. He's a well-respected, great guy who's worked hard to experience longevity in the sport. I'm excited to have Hitch Go, Mosby's Towing and Transport, and Coble Enterprise on board as we chip away at 500 NASCAR Cup starts." Here's what Carl Long said about having Casey Mears on the team. "Having Casey Mears drive a Garage 66 car is a proud day for our organization. He's driven for NASCAR's elite, such as Chip Ganassi Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, and Richard Childress Racing. Adding Garage 66 to that list means a lot to me and everyone who's helped build our team. Casey and I first connected many years ago when I was driving. He always treated me and our fellow competitors with respect on and off the track. He hails from a historic racing family, but it's not something he boasts about. He always takes time for everyone, which is indicative of his character. I love having the opportunity to work with good people, especially when they drive fast. I'm excited to get to Martinsville with Casey and having a successful weekend for Hitch Go, Mozzie Towing and Transport, and Coble Enterprises." This is not something that I expected. Now, I remember a couple years ago back in 2023 when Casey Mears had stated during, I believe, one of the next-gen tests in 2023 when they were testing the short track package, he had been speaking to Jimmy Johnson, and I thought maybe there was going to be a chance and possibility that he was going to drive for Legacy Motor Club in their third car. Considering Jimmy Johnson's ran the 84 car a couple races over the course of the last couple years, I really thought there was a chance and possibility that he'd be joining up with Legacy Motor Club with his friendship with Jimmy Johnson and his friendship with Jeff Gordon as well. But I was not expecting Casey Mears to come out of retirement. The last time Casey Mears raced in the NASCAR Cup Series was in 2019 during the Daytona 500. He drove the number 27 car for Premium Motorsports, made the Daytona 500. I believe he got caught up in the first big crash early in the race, but he has not ran full-time in NASCAR competition since 2016 when he drove the number 13 car for Germain Racing, who no longer exists in NASCAR today. He made some select starts in the number 98 for the Curb Abidjan team in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, a team owned by Fred Biaggi back in the day before Stuart Haas Racing bought up that organization, and had some decent success in that number 98 car, but wasn't absolutely the fastest driver in the field, though they weren't having the support of the Stuart Haas Racing team all around until 2018 when SHR bought all the assets for that number 98 program. This is a really, really big deal, though, because we've been seeing more of these drivers come out of retirement that we weren't expecting to come out of retirement. Obviously, we've seen names like Elio Castroneves come to NASCAR this year. We've seen Jimmy Johnson come out of retirement. We had interest in Carl Leverts coming out of retirement at one point, even though that's not going to be happening, it sounds like, with the number 5 car. We have seen other drivers in the last couple of years, like Ryan Newman, show up to the track, and we've seen legendary drivers like Kamui Kobayashi from the other ranks, and we've seen other drivers come out of retirement like Greg Biffle in the last couple of years who have expressed interest if he gets paid and maybe making a comeback and return in the future, because Greg Biffle wants to run the Daytona 500 once again. Now, obviously, this is a team that is not the most competitive, right? NBM Motorsports and Garage 66, they're not a team that's the most competitive. They had decent speed during the Daytona Speed Weeks when they had Chandler sit behind the wheel. Originally, of course, Mike Wallace was going to be the driver of that car. Now, some people are going to talk about the fact that Casey Mears hasn't been around in a car for for 6 years. And you do bring up a valid point, but it is a short track, so NASCAR probably approved Casey for that. And I would also think maybe there's a test coming down, but Casey Mears has recent stock car experience in the last 5 or 6 years, and he did run a super speedway, so that probably helps a little bit on that front. But I think it's just really cool to see Casey Mears back in the sport, because I know he wants to make it the 500 NASCAR Cup Series starts, and I think he does have a chance and opportunity. So I would have to think this is probably not the only scheduled start that Casey Mears will have with the MBM/Garage 316 this year. I'm thinking Casey Mears is probably going to make somewhere around maybe like 10 more starts. I think he wants to reach 500 by the end of the year, and I thought that would happen 2 years ago. But to see the Casey Mears' dream of coming back to NASCAR and making a comeback in return is honestly incredible. He's going to be basically racing against a lot of competitors that he's raced against before. Guys like Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott near the end of his full-time career, Alex Bowman near the end of his full-time career. Not William Byron, but he'll be going against guys like Bubba Wallace in the field and Tyler Reddick and other big names in the field, like a Christopher Bell, who I think is one of the best drivers in the field currently at the moment, and Chase Briscoe and Ty Gibbs and everybody, then Keselowski and Priest. A lot of drivers he's raced before in the past, but a lot of new faces who've joined the field, like a Carson Ospar, Ty Gibbs, among other drivers. I think it's going to be really fun to see what Casey Mears can do in this number 66 Garage 66 entries. I really think Casey Mears could be very, very competitive. And again, I talked about Casey Kane coming back. I didn't think he'd come back, and now we've got Casey Mears coming out of retirement. And I really think that he's going to be very fun to watch. And I think it's going to be interesting because realistically, this is a team that I don't expect to be up front, if we're going to be real and honest here. Because while MBM is in Garage 66, they do care about performing. They're not a team that should be expected to go out there and win races. The goal for Casey Mears is to just get a little more experience in this car and do the best he can behind the wheel. But I'm excited about this. I think it's just cool to see some of these other retired drivers come out and race once again in NASCAR. And we've been seeing more of this interest come up in recent years, and I'm excited to see what he can do this weekend. Not this weekend, but a couple weeks from now at Martinsville. Excited to see Casey Mears make a comeback. I really hope he can be successful. I think it's just good because he's worked with Fox Sports too. Maybe this could get in some sort of collaboration with Fox Sports down the road again, like he used to do back in the mid to late 2010s. That'd be really fun to see. But I think it's pretty fun to see that Casey Mears is coming out of retirement and racing with MBM/Garage 66 in a couple weeks from now at Martinsville Speedway. So, that is going to be today's special breaking news report on Casey Mears. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's get some more of that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. How do you think Casey Mears is going to do in his return? Do you think he's going to struggle because he's not been behind the wheel of a stock car in about the last 4 or 5 years? Or do you think he's actually going to be pretty successful? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later today on the channel, you're going to see the paint scheme video for the Pennzoil 400. We're going to be looking at the Red Bull paint scheme, the Beefaroo scheme for Shane Van Gisbergen and Noah Gragson. I got content coming out of people like Noah Gragson, Haley Deegan, Carl Lewis, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Connor Zillis, Junior Motorsports, the lawsuit between 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports, Prime, all that good stuff, Mr.Beast, all that good stuff will be coming out on the channel in the not-so-distant future. Excited to share everything I've got. We've got reactions, of course, to the Truck Series race tomorrow night. We'll talk more about this Casey Mears news and other big stories that have been breaking on the channel over the course of the last couple days. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content. You'll talk about Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Chloe's Farm, all the good stuff coming out on the channel really soon. So I'll see you guys there for more great content. Take care, everybody.